It's the Hump Day edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. Thank you for tuning in once again, everyone. Welcome back. And today, a pretty windy day, breezy to windy at times, but otherwise it's not bad outside. We've got kind of a mixed bag of clouds and sunshine here this afternoon. I'm recording this just after 2 o'clock, and this is what is going on temperature-wise. 60 in Youngstown and Newcastle, 57 Ravenna, 62 Akron, Canton, and down in New Philly it's a little warmer at 70 this afternoon. That actually seems a little too warm. That thermometer might be running a bit warm down in Tuscarawas County this afternoon. But as you can see, no rain on the radar, just some fair weather cumulus clouds around. There is a gusty wind, and the reason for that is we actually have a rapidly strengthening low pressure system up here across eastern Canada right now. It's up here. And as that thing continues to strengthen, it's starting to really crank up the winds on the south and southwest side of that low pressure system. So this afternoon we do have some gusty winds all throughout to the northeast and heading back into parts of the Ohio Valley. Locally, here in Youngstown, let's see, at 2 o'clock, the wind gust is 25 knots. So getting, up into the 20s to around 30 miles per hour or so. That'll be pretty common, I think, for the next couple of hours. And then as we start to lose the daytime heating, the atmosphere is not as mixed up, the wind will start to diminish some as we head into this evening. As far as any threat for severe weather across the country this afternoon, it's not nearly as high as it has been, just a general risk or a real low risk of thunderstorms down in parts of the Carolinas, Georgia, and then swinging back up into parts of the Plain States. Let me bring up the pressure analysis again and take off some of this other stuff. What we have going on out west is a tropical system heading into the southwest producing rain out there. In fact, let me pop up the radar. And what happens with this will have an impact on our weather eventually as we head towards the end of the week. What kind of track this takes, the warm front associated with it. And so let me bring up the future radar here. This is going to be kind of a close call as far as rain or no rain for us. I think later on Thursday, heading into Thursday night, even parts of Friday. I'm going to skip all the way ahead to tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. And at this point, let me bring up the pressures on the model here. Got a warm front extending out from Kansas into just north of the Ohio River Valley, our actual low pressure system out here at this point, and then this big long warm front out here. And as this low tracks east, the best chance for rain will be near it and the warm front. But it's probably going to be mostly, I think, south of Youngstown. In fact, as we roll ahead into Thursday evening here, almost say roughly I-70 or just north of I-70 on south is where I think we get wet late Thursday into Thursday night. Now, does this get as far north as Route 30, parts of Columbiana County? I think that's a possibility. As we go forward in time here and into Friday morning, that first little wave moves away. Then we await kind of the main thrust of this rain closer to the low pressure system Friday morning. As we go ahead to a Friday afternoon, we're gearing up for high school football. That second wave closer to the low pressure system will start to move east, if my internet connection will show me. And it will continue spreading the moisture into southern Ohio, maybe again as far north as I-70 or even Route 30. Again, this is a late afternoon on Friday. Here's our low, here's our front. And then a few more hours after that, around kickoff time for high school football, this is going to be a close call, especially south of Youngstown. Could there be a little rain for high school football south of 224 and particularly south of Route 30? Yeah, I think so. But I really am not real optimistic it gets much farther north than 30 or 224. This is the NAM model, and this is the farthest north model I've seen so far with the rain. And this is after Friday night football. This is the middle of the night, Friday night, into Saturday morning, the NAM model here. And this actually keeps it raining after midnight Friday night and right into Saturday morning. Now, this is NAM and other models have different ideas. In fact, I'll show you the latest GFS model, or other American model here. This is let's see here. This would be 2 p.m. on Friday, 8 p.m. on Friday. Again, close call for us, but it keeps the rain either at or south of Route 30 the whole time, even well into Friday night. So our forecast we're going to go out with this evening, I suspect, will keep the low chance for rain here Thursday night into Friday, and particularly Friday morning. And that's going to be based on other models other than the NAM, which I just showed you, which makes it rain here Friday night. I think that's the lowest possibility at this point. I think it's more likely it doesn't rain in Youngstown, but probably does down towards Zanesville, Cambridge, Dover, New Philly, Pittsburgh, places like that. So we'll keep you updated on that. One thing for sure, I do think it'll be dry for the YSU game on Saturday evening. It's a night game, 7 p.m. kick. Here's the middle of the afternoon, and then Saturday evening, high pressure centered off to the east of the Great Lakes, and should be a chilly evening, but a dry evening nonetheless. Sunday, we've got a little model war going on here. Here's the GFS model, keeping the rain south and west of us through the end of the day. Now, some runs of the European model have been bringing in rain as early as early afternoon on Sunday into the region. Haven't seen the new European model just yet, but it's possible I'm going to throw in a small chance for rain Sunday afternoon if the European keeps singing in this song. When the European is consistent on an idea, it tends to be a good model, and when it's consistent on an idea, then you really have to start taking it pretty seriously, even if it goes against the other models. When it's singing the same song several runs in a row, then that makes our ears perk up, and so it's possible we might have to allow for a little rain Sunday afternoon, just depending on what the new information looks like this afternoon. 16-day temperatures. We are going to warm up early next week. We might even flirt with 70 early next week, depending on how it goes. It'll turn windy. Could be some thunderstorms here and there early next week as well. And then it looks like a cooling trend as we head towards the middle of the month, around 17th, 18th, 19th of the month is how the current models are trending. All right, I've been dropping a couple of hints on social media about our winter forecast, which we are going to put out in early November. One of the things we're looking at is the water temperatures in the Pacific Ocean. That has a big impact on driving the weather patterns, not only globally, but across North America. And one of the real, keys to our winter forecast is going to be a couple of things here. See this pool of warmer than average water here? You might have heard this is an El Nino year. Well, it's a weak El Nino, and it's actually centered. In other words, by centered, I mean the highest temperature anomalies, the warmest water compared to average, is farther west than a lot of El Ninos. A lot of El Ninos, that really warm water is banked up against South America over here to the east. But this year's El Nino not only weak, but centered a little farther to the west. And so that makes it not your typical El Nino in some respects, and it also has implications on how the jet stream may be configured this winter. The other thing we're keeping an eye on is this pool of warm water banked up against the west coast of North America. It's warm in the eastern Pacific and the northeastern Pacific. And when you have these combinations going on in terms of the water temperatures out across the Pacific, when you look back at past winters that have had this type of water temperature pattern in the Pacific, it's pretty consistent that it usually means the western U.S. will be warm, the eastern U.S. will be chilly. Now, how chilly? Like last year? Worse than last year? Not as bad as last year? Those answers we're going to have in a few weeks as we look at more and more information. But these are some of the things we look at. We look at a lot of water temperatures. The ocean and the atmosphere interact very, very intimately, and there's a close relationship there. We also look at the Atlantic Ocean and the water temperatures there. So those are some of the things that we're looking at in the next couple of weeks as we assemble your winter 2014-2015 forecast. All right, thank you for watching Weather for Weather Geeks on this Wednesday. I'll see you right back here tomorrow afternoon.